if we will use that which has been entrusted to us, the very best that we have to offer, we can see the very presence of Yahweh manifested again upon the face of the earth. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day number 2, a Torah portion, Trumah. Again, we're in Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 25. And again, I'd like to read just a couple of important verses. First of all, verse number 1. Speak to the children of Israel that they take up a contribution for me, from everyone whose heart moves him. And then in verse 8, and they shall make me a set-apart place, and I shall dwell in their midst. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, to the book of Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter number 1, where we read that Yah created the heavens and the earth. He created the heavens first. He established the heavenly spiritual realm. And then he created the physical earthly realm that it would properly reflect in a completely different arena the reality of truth that is found first in the spiritual realm. Unfortunately, earth and its people rarely properly reflect that which is above. More often than not, we tend to reflect our own desires, our own purposes, and our very flesh nature. So Yah's people found in Mitzrayim reflected that which was Mitzrite in its culture, Egyptian. Yah has been desiring since the failure of the garden to bring again his presence into the earth through a set-apart people, to bring about restoration. Restoration is a word that we don't hear enough about, but this is the primary goal of Yah's heart, is to restore what has been lost. When Israel was found captive in Mitzrayim, Yah allowed slavery. He intentionally brought this people to the midst of a very pagan nation so that he would hear their cries, crying out for freedom, for liberty, and for life instead of death. It was at their invitation for deliverance that Yah began to move. He sent Moshe, he sent plagues, he broke down the kingdom of darkness as it was situated in Mitzrayim. Pharaoh relented, was broken down, and Israel was set free. They cried out again at the sea of reeds. There they cried out, asking for help, and Yah again responded. This time he rolled back waters and created a dry ground path in the middle of a sea. Israel walked across, not sloshing in mud, but stirring up dust as they walked through on dry ground. Miraculous indeed. When the waters closed over top of Pharaoh and his army, the people danced, they rejoiced, they prophesied, they sang, they celebrated. But over and over again, they lost the enthusiasm of this intervening event at the hand of Yahweh, began to murmur, grumble, and complain. Sound familiar? We go from the moments where Yah rescues us, delivers us, we celebrate, we dance, we prophesy, and then we're on to the next tragedy and trauma, the next situation where we feel completely beaten down. We mumble, we grumble, and we complain. We cry out. Yah hears our cries, our invitations for deliverance, and the cycle repeats itself, unfortunately, over and again. So Yah is desiring to do more than just temporarily rescue. His goal and his desire is that his people will take that which he has entrusted to them, give of that, so that he may dwell in their midst in a dwelling place. Now, in particular, Yah wants to rebuild again his house on Mount Zion in the city of Jerusalem. What we have done frequently is create revival epicenters. We've promoted ideas such as a local congregation being under the spout where the glory comes out. Yes, I've actually used that one. Yeah, forgive me. We've promoted an open portal over our heads or over our cities because we're such chosen people that Yah has just out of nowhere chosen the spot. We proclaimed our city is being taken for the Most High. We've done our prayer walks. We've done all of this ingenious effort to bring about the manifestation of Yah's presence. Yah can be revealed anywhere that he chooses. He can be very much alive in the midst of any group of people. But make no mistake about it, there is one location in all of the earth where the Sheen, where the Hebrew letter signifying name, is found. And that is in the area of Jerusalem, where you have the valley of Gehenna, the Tyropian Valley, and the Kidron Valley that form to us what looks like a W. In Hebrew, it's the Sheen. And again, the letter stands for the name. His name is there. His presence is there. Yeshua will reign from there. That is the place that is the apple of Yah's eye. It is the center of the earth. When Yah looks at the earth, that's where he is looking. And wherever we are in the peripheral vision. We're still in his vision. He loves us. He cares for us. But Yah has chosen that particular place. He wants his house built there. His house will be built there. So we yearn and we pray for that. Until then, what do? There are a couple of things that we need to understand. First of all, let's look at this phrase about taking up a contribution. In Hebrew, the phrase reads, Dabar el bnei Israel, words to Israel. Here's the important word, ve'yechuli truma. The word ve'yechuli is from the word lakak. Lakak is that word that means to seize, to take, to fetch, to lay hold of, to acquire. The idea is that you lay your hands upon the contribution, that portion, intentionally. We're not just digging into our pocket and seeing what we can bring out, but rather we have thought about this. What is it that I have in my possession that I have been entrusted with, that I can put my hands on, that I can lay hold of and give as a contribution to him, so that the end result will be the facilitation of his house, the building of his house, the manifestation of his presence? Is it fasting? Is it prayer? Is it study? Is it showing acts of love and mercy? Is it worship and songs and praises? Is it the actual act of giving finance? Is it helping those who are helpless? What is it that I can do that will bring about the restoration, the reconciliation of those things that are divided and scattered? In the book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 12, from the Aramaic English New Testament, we read, where the words of Rav Shaul or Apostle Paul say, not as though I had already taken the prize or were already complete, but I run in the race, if so that I may take that for which Yeshua the Mashiach took me. Messiah has laid hold of us. He has seized our hearts, our lives, our beings, our future. That reason that he took us is for a purpose. It's up to you and I to figure out what that purpose is. How do I move with him? How do I serve him? What is it that he wants me to put my hand on and yield to him in such fashion that with it, it is a building stone. It is building material that he may manifest his presence in the house of his people, Am Israel, wherever we are. Again, if you are redeemed, if you know Yeshua as your Messiah, You are part of Am Israel. Whether you claim a lineage or not, you're adopted in at least. And it is your job and mine to build his house. Until tomorrow, shalom.